Tuesday. Super Tuesday here on Digital Charcuterie. Let's get that out of here. I'm James. Welcome to the channel. It's Tuesday. We talk all superheroes here today. Before we get into what we're all about, want to run down who's with me today. To my left is Scotty from Hawks Holocrons. Hey, Scott.
How's it going, man? Glad to be here as always.
Oh, thanks. And below him, and just on picture screen, and maybe in knowledge of Namor, is Steve. Steve, what's up?
How's it going, James?
It's going. We got a lot of fun stuff. So here's what happens today. We're not going to, but we have a few things. Usually we go through email questions. You have an email, give us a email topic at digitalcharcuterie@gmail.com, or you let us know in the comments down below. Today's show is mostly from the comments down below, but it's a lot of fun. And as we do, so Tuesdays, we just talk superheroes on the channel. You could join us in the comments, or usually we do it live. We're not live today, but whatever. We'll get through that. Let's get right into the show. It's fun stuff. It's been a long week. It's Tuesday. It's been a long
Super Tuesday.
Yeah, man.
week.
You got a ways to go, buddy. Strap in.
Yeah, it's a short week, though. It's a short week. All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk some Namor from Marvel. We're going to kick things off with Marvel Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. This thing is, some people are speculating it might get delayed. That is so unlike Marvel. Remember Thor? The rumors that Thor was going to get delayed, and then that's not going to happen. We haven't got a trailer because they're marketing Doctor Strange 2. Why would you forget about the one that's coming up in a few weeks and force feed the other one? Plus, you're going to go see Thor anyway. You don't need a trailer for Thor. But Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, this thing's coming apparently in November. They had, the COVID stuff, injuries, all this stuff. But not a lot of information is known. Anthony Mackie was on the set, and he said it's going to be wild. There's some paraphrasing here. It's going to be something phenomenal, I suspect. But everyone wants to know who is going to be the antagonist of this, and rumors are beginning to circulate that it's going to be Namor, and we all know he's coming. They've kind of hinted that he's coming. I think some people are speculating that he might even be in the Illuminati in Doctor Strange 2. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. I do think, whether or not we're going to talk about the rumor reporting a little bit, whether or not this is the case, I don't know. But I do think, Scotty, that Namor is heading for Marvel, and he's coming in Black Panther 2.
Yeah, that would be cool, man. Or even in like a post-credit something, like a coming villain, because a lot of these I feel like need a trilogy. They've done it with Thor, Iron Man. I think everybody kind of deserves a trilogy, and not for nothing, like Black Panther is a huge franchise, so it's not just one character, and the mantle has been held by multiple people that we've already seen in the first movie. So heck yeah. But I like the Illuminati thing too, because a lot of speculation around the group that we've seen in trailers, they're just like gonna get completely annihilated by Wanda. So are they even the real Illuminati, or is there a true multiversal group that we haven't met yet?
Ooh, that's interesting. Steve, what do you think? Are we getting Namor in Black Panther 2?
I think it makes sense to bring Namor in, and this is a perfect time to do it. They, like you said, they've planted a lot of seeds, but nothing major, nothing that's going to temper any kind of expectation. So I think it's a good time to do it. He'd be a great character to have in, and yeah, it looks good. I
think so. I think they're building up on this. Marvel right now is in a weird spot, not like in a positive way. And the Russo brothers, one of them, I think anyway, just came out and said recently that Marvel actually doesn't really have a plan. It's not as concrete as they like us to think it is. And I think part of that is, and I've talked about this in the past, where I think it's just Feige knows how to manipulate the stories that have come and gone and weave them into the right direction. I think that's really, he's a puppeteer, and these movies are his puppets. And I think that's part of the brilliance of it, is because I think what we're seeing too is with Hawkeye, and Steve, you've been wanting to talk about Aqualad for a long time over at the DC side of things. But what they're doing in Marvel, though, if you think like Hawkeye with Kate Bishop, She-Hulk, who else are they doing? Like young Avengers, right? Like they really.
Dude, you have Wiccan and Speed, who are both her children. You have Patriot, or Iron Patriot. It's in Falcon and Winter Soldier. The young kid, Isaiah, I think was his name. He's also the Patriot or Patriot. He's a young man. a lot of them out there, actually. If you want
It's
to,
like it seems like it seems like the TV side might be focusing on that. And
oh
then
yeah,
the film though, it's getting a little bit more. We talked about just going supernatural, but if you look like Shang-Chi, how it's like
hmm
mystic, and Doctor Strange is like dealing in the
hmm
dark arts. It seems like they're going to have a little bit of fun with these types of characters. And now, of course, the door is being opened with mutants are going to be allowed to enter the MCU now. So I think this is a perfect time for him to enter. He's kind of like on the fence, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. I think he'd be a perfect antagonist for a character like Black Panther or whoever they're gonna do with that. I think he's a great antagonist to have brought into that, and then you can use him as a hero when you want, and then he can kind of flip flop whenever you want, and you could, as long as you don't kill him off, you could do so much with this character, and he can have a very long shelf life.
I'm drawing a blank. Where is Wakanda located in the MCU? Is it right on? Is it on the ocean?
it's the continent of Africa,
I know it's in Africa,
but I'm not sure exactly.
Because I'm thinking if it's going to be a war between the Wakandans and the Atlanteans or Namor, you'd think it would have to be along near the ocean. And I don't, for some reason in my head, I'm thinking the maps I saw a long time ago. Wakanda was kind of in the heart.
There is one of the Avengers movies. She mentions like the earthquake in the water, and I think there's a blip on a map that shows like an indicator in part of the ocean over on that side. I'm not sure though exactly where it is, but yeah, I think they've already hinted at him subtly with that one little comment.
Yeah, I think that it does look like it has some water connected to it. It's not quite. It looks like, judging on this map that I quickly Googled, that you can't. It looks like it has
nothing but the best.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't anticipating talking about that today.
It was just a thought,
And look, if Aquaman can make $1 billion in DC land, why couldn't Namor make $1 billion in Marvel land? But I like your point, like the end credit scene. I think Marvel used to really utilize the end credit scenes, and then I think maybe they kind of have come back to it. But then for a little while, they were like, "Here's a clip from the next movie," like and No Way Home was my least favorite one. I prefer to Homecoming to. I like a trailer for a movie that I'm going to see on YouTube in the next, don't make me sit through that crap. Put something back there. And I feel like the thing that they've done so well with post-credit scenes, look, and they weren't the first ones to do it. Everybody gives them these credits, but Pirates of the Caribbean had it. Movies had it for a long time. If you remember, the monkey came back and he stole some treasure. But anyway, but they've been doing it for a long time. But Marvel succeeded at it because they gave you just like, here's a tease, and it was just enough. Like that Nick Fury cameo at the end of Iron Man 1, which Favreau didn't even want in the movie because they couldn't figure out where to put it, and that's how they decided on the post credit, was because no one could agree on where to put it in the movie. It was brilliant because it kind of teased up the next, wherever we are now, right? The next 10 plus years, it teased up in a way, and I think. To your point, this guy, about it is you could do that now. Let's do that. Let's go back to that. Let's tease things. I did a video a little while ago where there's a rumor that a scientist who worked on the Silver Surfer board is going to be in the Marvels, and I'm like, that's the post-credit scene of that movie, man. Make that him working on the Silver Surfer board. Like, just go back to this and give us little teases. Don't show me a scene from a movie that's coming out. Show me just like a little 10-second. Oh, that's coming. Like I kind of like that. Even the Captain Marvel tease at the end of whatever movie that one was. Where was it? Infinity War?
The beeper.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's it was Infinity War, right? Yeah, the beeper. I was like, that, even though it was so small and it looked very flat, it was like, I'm like, that is a perfect tease because it doesn't tell you anything, but it tells you everything.
You know what's messed up is I think, like, not for nothing, they're in this weird filler kind of area where they're starting to like build their next big phase. And the point that you were bringing up about post-credit scenes and the fact that the trailer for Doctor Strange's movie was the post-credit scene, I think it would be really cool that if after that movie, every movie's post-credit scene is now like our blip scene, but whatever event takes place in Multiverse of Madness is now the new blip. So, for instance, like your post-credit of Aquaman could be, your post-credit of Black Panther 2 could be some kind of portal or some kind of thing that Atlantis like is there now, or is like a thing, or activated, or you know what I mean, something along those lines.
Just give you something. Yeah.
But something now in that film is going to be our next big, like, oh crap moment that could resonate through every film going forward in the next phase.
I gotta say one thing. I kind of hope that the multiverse stuff is shut down at the end of. I've brought this. It's shut down at the end of Multiverse of Madness. I love it. It works so well in No Way Home. It's gonna be fun in this, but at some point, it's gonna get too much and it becomes it's like time travel, right? It's just like
it's gonna get nuts, dude.
I'm fine with it getting nuts.
The
You know what? It doesn't have to end. It doesn't have to. Let me rephrase it. It doesn't have to end, but they have to have a game plan for it. You can't just be like multiverse.
Yeah,
that's just gonna get lame fast.
Well, you're gonna have to put up with it for a little bit longer because you got Loki season 2 is gonna have to deal with it, and Ant-Man, the new Ant-Man and Quantumania, because you have Kang the Conqueror in that one. So whether or not they wrap it up in a nice little bow with Doctor Strange, it's gonna impact some other projects in the future.
I think Loki's fair because that's a TV show, so I think that's kind of fair game. Have some fun. But Ant-Man's going to deal with whatever it deals with, but I just don't want them to be like, guess who's showing up now? You know, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, good.
I think
James Marsden's back.
Yeah, it'll be good if they use the multiverse or the Doctor Strange to kind of reshuffle the deck, and then going forward, okay, we now know there's a hint of mutants. There's this character is back from another universe, and go, and then you just go from that point on.
Yeah, I think if we go back to thinking about the first season of Loki and how they explained the multiversal war and everything, like there were timelines like side by side, all in harmony. I think we could get back to that point rather than them all being tangled up. So you would have a timeline where it's like, okay, here Wanda does have her kids or whatever and is happy. And over here we do have Wanda as a mutant with her brother Pietro or whatever. But I'm really curious. I think it's going to go Secret Wars though and get even more complicated. Like this movie is just going to kick off endless possibilities. We're going to get like the god heads, like Zeus was cast in Thor. Moon Knight is now talking about all the Egyptian gods. So like the power levels are just going to go up a little bit here, people, until it levels off again. We still have to get to mutants in Doctor Doom, Fantastic Four. Like it's going to get crazy, James. I don't know if you're ready, man.
I'm definitely not ready.
Yeah.
I am. Look, all I'm saying is I don't want things used as a crutch, right? You use it to enhance and progress.
There's going to be a reset button at some point.
Yeah, and that's fine. I just don't want every movie to be like, guess who's coming into this one? It's like that to me. That just, like I said, like the 3 Spider-Man were fantastic in No Way Home, but if you keep milking that, it's like it loses its luster and its appeal after a while.
What, you're not excited to see the 3 Quicksilvers?
Have there been 3 Quicksilvers?
You didn't see that coming?
I see what you did there. Well, anyway, we'll see what happens there. Let's move on to our next topic. I'm excited for Black Panther 2, by the way. I'm excited for Namor, actually. So we'll see what happens there. Let's move on. Let's go on to our next topic, and this is a rumor right now that so Madam Web is a movie that's coming, and I don't know. We're gonna have to have some fun talking about this because Madam Web is coming, and we're gonna get Kraven the Hunter is filming right now, and Morbius, guys. Scotty, do not. I know you might get some teary-eyed here. Was the biggest second week drop off of any comic book movie of all time at the box office. It hit. It was like a line drive, and someone dove in the outfield and just caught it last second, right before the ball dropped. They didn't let it happen. But anyway, Madam Web is still a thing. A few weeks ago, Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria was cast in it, and it was an undisclosed role, a secret role. No one knew. But now reports are coming out on who she's playing, and it looks like it's going to be Charlotte Witter is going to be the character. Are you guys familiar with Charlotte Witter at all?
Does not ring any bells.
Scotty's Googling it, but he can't do it fast.
I'll stretch it out. Well, let me see. Charlotte Witter, was she in the cartoon? Oh,
she's the granddaughter of Madam Web. So you gotta the elderly Madam Web. So I don't know what they're doing here. Guys, this is my concern with this is she's also a Spider Woman. You should know that. That's the thing. She's a Spider Woman. My concern is that they're going to be like Spider Woman is the Spider Man of the Sonyverse, but this is the thing is, and like I don't know. I think they want Andrew Garfield in, but if Andrew Garfield's smart, he might back away. Like he had all this goodwill coming to him recently. You can't throw that away with a Sony movie that's going to get destroyed by critics, right? So anyway, Scotty, Spider-Woman, Madam Web, what do you make anything of it? Like, because I know you enjoyed Morbius. You've seen it 17 times now. Jared Leto is your uncle, though. We need to let people know that you're just supporting family.
I mean, yeah, he can do no wrong at this point. So I mean, I'm not allowed to say that he's bad in anything. So
no, but all joking aside, you and I, we both actually enjoyed the movie. Steve, you feel like it was a movie. So, but what are your thoughts going into Madam Web? Like, we're getting Craven. They're forcing this on us. We're getting these movies no matter what. Do you feel good about Madam Web? And what do you think of this casting?
I not huge fans of Craven or Madam Web, but I can understand the Craven movie. I can understand where there's a story there. With Madam Web, I don't understand what that movie's going to be about. I don't see how she's a character you base a movie off of. I really don't. So I don't know. I'm not excited for it, but maybe if I see a trailer, I'm like, oh, that might knock my socks off. Who knows, right? I'm willing to give it a chance, but I don't know. I'm not optimistic about Madam Web, if that makes sense.
No, I think it does. And I think, look, a trailer is going to probably sell a lot of people on it. But again, the one thing that really helped Morbius was the terrible reviews. I think it was like, well, how bad is this movie? We got to go see it. And people showed up to go see it. And I think what happened was it wasn't as bad as the critics made it seem, but it wasn't good enough for word of mouth. I think it was somewhere in this gray area. I think as you see on Rotten Tomatoes, Scotty, fans liked it. Critics hated it. So I think the intrigue of how bad is it kind of went away. And now people are like, well, I'll just wait for Netflix or whatever. But anyway, Scotty, Spider-Woman, Madam Web, what are your thoughts?
I hope that they have a plan to build out the Spider-Verse, because the Marvel-Sony relationship, in my opinion, is backfiring at this point. And the fact that Sony hasn't done anything with their own Spider-Man in many, many years, and then kind of put a lot of money and like time and investment into the Tom Holland relationship with Marvel, now it's like the waters are getting a little muddy here with the Vulture and the edits being taken out and stuff. So I think Sony's best move is to do stuff like this, is to get actresses like her, who from a show that just completely blew up recently and has millions of views. It's a brilliant casting. The fact that Madam Web's going to be a big bad. They do have a Null character. They have all of the symbiotes. They have Miles Morales, who they haven't even introduced yet. They have Oscar Isaac, who voiced the cartoon 2099. That's a possibility, man. He could be pulled into live action. So, but in my opinion, man, now is the time to pull the trigger on all the Spider stuff, all of it, because Marvel looks really, really good right now in the Morbius situation, and you look really, really bad.
Yeah, they need to figure it out. I think the problem with Morbius was that 2-year delay changed so much of that movie. I really want to see what this movie was 2 years ago when they first. I just did the Andrew Garfield video yesterday, and I pulled the original Morbius trailer from 2 years ago. I made sure to get the first trailer for it, and I'm just watching it. It's like, what the heck is this movie? Steve, did I send you the picture? Tyrese has like a contraption on his arm, like he's some kind of like cyborg or something. I'm like I was just like, what that? Like that shot's not in the movie. And that people like there was more like his character really seemed like he seemed bored in the movie to me. And I'm wondering what happened with his character, because that seems like a big piece of thing. And then Michael Keaton, they did what they did, but he says even more in that, in that trailer at the very end. He was like Michael Moore, like he knows who he is and stuff. So I'm really intrigued what this movie would have looked like had it come up before No Way Home. And the thing with Sony, I think this is the problem with Sony, and they've got to figure this crap out, is Spider-Man 3, they threw in Venom. Amazing Spider-Man 2, they threw in the whole entire Sinister Six. They didn't even wait for it. They're all here. And you're like, wow, why? Right. And then with Morbius now, they make this Morbius movie, and it's going towards the Sinister Six. And I think one of the original post-credit scenes I heard was that Toomes had a picture of Kraven in prison, and he shows Morbius that picture. I think that's a little bit more organic. I think that works better. That being said, they always want the Sinister Six, which is fine. You're going to get there, but you have to figure out how to get there. And now with Morbius, No Way Home comes out, and they have to somehow shuffle it around. And I think the real delay wasn't because of COVID in January. It was because they re-edited the damn half of that movie to fit some kind of agenda made by No Way Home that no one was asking it to fit. If this, I was saying this to Steve earlier, is Guardians of the Galaxy and the MCU timeline takes place before it actually came out in chronological order. No one effing cared. No one cared. This is the problem. Like, they have to understand that no one cares. You make the movie Morbius, and when it comes out and people are like, well, No Way Home. First of all, no one's going to say that because no one cares. Secondly, you just say, oh, this takes place before No Way Home. We were delayed for 2 years because of a damn pandemic, okay? Like, no one's going to care. As soon as it's on streaming, if you all end up being nice and you get on Disney, then you can put it all together and wherever it is, people are going to know. No one's going to care. They don't hold that. So Sony has to figure out that sometimes you just let your story be the story and you don't worry about the BS. Because the Morbius movie, Steve, like we said a little while ago, it was so great that it didn't concern itself with anything else until the terrible end credit scenes.
Until it tried to tie into things, right? And that's where it kind of unraveled. So yeah.
I blame Charlemagne. Remember years and years ago, he let it leak that Tyrese said that he was in the MCU. He said that he talked to him, and that he was in Morbius, and that he could confirm he was in the MCU. And then Charlemagne went on live on the radio and said that. And then Kevin Feige was like, nope, that's it, man. Delay it. Delay the movie, cut it down. That's it. I'm done with the leaks.
Yeah, dude, like there's a different Morbius movie. And it might not have been a good Morbius movie. I don't know, but there's a different Morbius movie that was going to come out 2 years ago and I think a very significantly one. But I will say the director of Morbius, Daniel Espinosa, he is great. A great person, apparently. Like, he's coming out, he's doing all the interviews, he's taking it like a champ. He's kind of explaining things, but he never blames anyone. He's like, this is my movie, what is it? And he's very accepting of it. And he's so that, I mean, he gets paid to do that, sure, but good on him for doing that. And I'm hoping Madam Web isn't such a disaster. All right, let's move on to the next topic. And speaking of Morbius's director, he has said in an interview that Miles Morales exists in that Sony universe, which is something we've been talking about for a month now, 2 months. Mm-hmm. He has to exist. I like, for me, what they're doing with Spider-Woman, I don't really know. Madam Web, I don't know. But Miles Morales, I think, you bring in Andrew Garfield in this universe and you let Miles Morales be your Spider-Man. And then you have free reign to pretty much do anything you want. You can tell any story you want. You're not tied down to anything. And then you just throw in Andrew Garfield once in a while to make everybody feel good and relive their I want to say childhood, but I was nowhere near a child during those movies.
Yeah, they mentioned Miles in one of the Spider-Man movies. Danny Glover was talking to him on the phone. He's like, I'm not going to make it home because his hand was stuck to the trunk of the car.
Yeah. Homecoming. And Jamie Foxx kind of brings up saying like, oh, there's got to be a black Spider-Man somewhere, right? So they're hinting at it, and
that's the play, man. Sooner than you planned. Do it now. Do it.
It's the ace in the sleeve, right?
They have to. They need it.
And they've got it, though. They've got, like, he is there for the taking. Miles Morales is there for the taking. They have the rights to him, and because everyone complains, like, where's the Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse? And if you can't get Andrew Garfield on board, and honestly, Andrew Garfield might just be like, look, man, I get nominated for an Oscar every 3 days. Like, I don't think I need to do this Sony Spider-Verse right now. I'm gonna go do Tick Tick Boom Part 2 or something. Like, he doesn't have to do it. So you gotta. Miles Morales, just to me, it makes the most sense. He's just there for the taking, and people know. And the one thing I know is I have a nephew who's like 11, and for like the last half of his life, he's loved Spider-Man his whole life, and the last half he's been obsessed with Miles Morales. That is his Spider-Man. That is my nephew's Spider-Man. Is Miles Morales. He looks cool. Like, his costume is awesome. Throw him in the movie. Make everybody happy. And maybe Sony, maybe you'll get your $1 billion.
Well put.
All right, well,
Couldn't
that's
say any
my.
better.
All right, let's go. We're gonna go into our final topic today, and that is the Flash movie. This movie comes out in 77 years, but every day there's something new to talk about. Whether it's Ezra Miller.
But what timeline are we talking about? I mean, 77 years could be tomorrow. You know, no one really knows.
No, with Warner Brothers, you never know.
Oh, man.
Ezra Miller is having issues. Obviously, everyone knows that. New reports are coming up that they are now again rethinking of replacing Ezra Miller in the Flash somehow. So I don't know if you guys know, but you talked about it, Scotty. We talked about it a bit, and then we talked about it again about how Rolling Stone had an article, and then somebody from Warner Brothers disputed that and said no, that's not the case. But now it's looking like it might be the case. I don't know what's going on with Ezra Miller. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Flash movie itself. And the leaks are like every day there's new leaks for this from test screenings, which, you report on one and then you hear, oh, no, that's all bogus. And then new reports come on. They're like, that's kind of true, but not really. And I think a lot of the leaks that are coming out are really just educated guesses on what this movie is, because it's only going to be about a few things and everybody kind of figures that out. But now on Twitter, My Time to Shine Hello has kind of indicated that at the end of the Flash movie, it will be confirmed that Henry Cavill, that Superman, is no longer a part of the DCEU. I think it's dumb. I think Supergirl's fine, but Supergirl and Superman could coexist no problem. I think Superman is Superman. And the fact that you don't want to utilize Superman because Henry Cavill's contract is too big or because your egos are bruised or whatever, I don't know. To me, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Now, in the movie, it might work. Like what they're doing in the movie, it might work for that one isolated film. But on the grand scheme, Scotty, I just don't understand why you wouldn't want Superman around.
Yeah, I think they're going to end up moving to a different universe altogether so that they can avoid the Henry Cavill Superman contract issues or whatever. But I think like with this kind of stuff and the fact that there are multiple universes, stuff like this could come back around. This merger with the companies and the shakeup. I don't know. I still hold out hope for even Snyderverse type stuff because it's $1 billion. Like these guys are not going to just be like, nah, we don't want Henry Cavill back. Let him go do The Witcher, get all that stuff done. I think even a Tony Stark could come back. Robert Downey Jr. Many, many years down the road, Secret Wars. We just see him in the distance, sitting at the table with his kid in another universe. You know what I mean? So who knows? I really can't speculate with Warner Brothers because you don't know what direction they want to put all their money into.
That's the thing. A lot of people are saying like the mergers happen and everything, and they're all putting stock in that. And it's like, yeah, but they can't just come in and change everything right now. Like Flash has been shot, Aquaman's been shot, Black Adam's been shot, Shazam 2 has been shot, Wonder Woman's in pre-production now. Like all these, they're not just going to pull these movies and be like, we're going to make these now. So I mean, I don't know how it affects any of those, but Steve, you think they might? But what do you think, Steve, of getting rid of Superman?
Wouldn't surprise me in the least if they did that, because again, it's DC, and if I don't have that ticket, it's not happening yet. Because I'm having such a hard time keeping track of all the Flash stuff at this point, and I'm starting to not care. When the talks of the Flash movie was out, my son, his favorite character was the Flash. He loved the Flash, and it's been so long without a Flash movie, without anything. He doesn't care anymore about Flash. He really doesn't. Nope. He's all in on Marvel at this point because Marvel's still producing. Marvel's still pumping this stuff out. And
no, I was gonna say, you just said the thing that Marvel does better than anybody, and that's the thing is like, if a Marvel movie comes out and it's okay, it doesn't matter because the next one's coming up in 2 months, and you're gonna not care about the one you just saw because the next one's coming, and they're always in the forefront of your mind. Doctor Strange is coming out. If it underwhelms you, who gives a crap? Thor's coming out next.
Thor, yep.
If Thor disappoints you, who cares? Black Panther's coming out. Who cares? Ant-Man's coming out. Oh, by the way, on TV, you're going to get... They're just always moving. And that, for me, as like individual films, I find that weakens the movies themselves a little bit and that their rewatchability quality. Not for little kids. Talking about for adults. Stop it. But like, whereas the quality is what it is because they're like, get one step, keep going. But it's genius because it's TV, right? It's like weekly. It's like we got you hooked, and we're not going to let you get cigarettes, right? You get hooked on cigarettes. That nicotine's keeping you around for a long time. That's what the MCU is. They've hooked your kids, and your kids are going to keep going and going and going. And the thing is, they're not kids movies. They're barely adult movies, but they're for all ages. So they get you when you're young. They're going to get you when you're older. And DC for some reason is like, Batman and Superman didn't do what you wanted to do. Just throw Justice League and then throw Wonder Woman. Just keep them coming.
And they're having a really hard time doing that.
Lack of direction, I think.
It's Well,
don't
that's
have a
like
Kevin Feige figurehead on a show.
Like I was saying earlier, like MCU might not have a plan, but Feige's smart enough, a good enough puppeteer to direct these things in the direction that they need to go to make sense and feel like 10 years ago they thought about Shang-Chi. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh no, they were planning that right. No, they weren't. They thought of it like a month before they cast him. Like, but it's like, but you feel like it's all natural. It's all part of this process. And that's the genius of it.
And they might get that now with the merge. Like things are, it's a little bit of a different corporate landscape than it was even 2 months ago. But like to your point earlier, don't sacrifice what you have on deck for what's way off in the future, right? Because you got all those movies that are in development and supposedly coming out, and we don't know where they stand. So I'm just, DC.
I know. I wish some companies would just have the I don't know what it is, the bravery or like whatever to just say, okay. Here's like a new slate. This is the new direction. We're actually going to move away from some of the CW stuff. We're going to now shift it into HBO Max, make it a little more gritty, the Batwoman stuff, etc. And then touch on, they don't even have to say they're going to. They can just say, hey, all of these timelines are something that we're looking at. But with a merger and big things like this and all of the public drama on Twitter, that's all we have to base on what's happening actually at that company. No one's telling us any otherwise. So,
do you know what I just thought of? And I haven't checked the numbers on this, but Iron Man, the reason the MCU works so well is because Iron Man was so good, right? And it did so well. But then the next movie that came out like a month later was The Incredible Hulk, which I really enjoyed. But that one, I think, underperformed. And it's not, critics didn't love it like they loved Iron Man. And sure, it was kind of Universal, and Iron Man was kind of Paramount at the time. But sure, it was kind of like that. But I think like Warner Brothers or even freaking Lucasfilm, they would have been like, halt, rethink it all. We got to rethink it all. But Feige stood strong, and he said, nope, Iron Man 2 is coming. And the thing is, he kind of lucked out with the Hulk in a way because of the Universal deal where he couldn't really do an independent film with them. So he was like, nope, that's coming. And Captain America and Thor and suck it. We're doing them. I don't care. It's happening.
Didn't panic.
Yeah. Exactly. He didn't panic, and he let them go. And he said, we're going to make this movie. Is it going to be great? I think it is. This is what we're doing. This is who I'm hiring to make it. And that's how it's going to be. And Steve, he didn't panic, but these other companies seem to just panic. And Marvel is proof that if you give a mediocre movie, enough people are Morbius. People went to Morbius the first weekend. If Morbius was a really good movie, people would have gone the second weekend. All you need to do is focus on 1 week at a time, right? One game at a time, like the coaches say in sports. You take it one game at a time, take it one movie at a time, make a damn good movie, and then get to the next one and make that a good movie. And eventually, you're going to have something built around you that will allow you to have 3-4 movies come out a year, and all of us excited to see all of them, and it won't be overkill yet.
Agreed, man.
Okay, someone's got to disagree so we can have a conversation about this.
You're making good points.
But it's panicking though. You cannot panic, and these companies just because all this money is involved, they start panicking. It's like, no, man, just have. And I think Toby Emmerich, for everybody that hates him, but he said one good thing when the Batman was a success. He's like, we'll let the creators create. Our films are going to be creator driven, which is I know you've been saying that, Scotty. But he actually has a position in the company. But the thing is, he says that. And the Batman was a hit, and Joker was a hit. But if the next one's not a hit, no more.
Yep, cut off.
And for every Friends, you have a single guy in Caroline in the City and all those other knockoffs that just weren't quite Friends when the corporate suits start to take over.
Who do you think have been the bigger panickers over the history? Has it been Sony with the what they've done so far with the Spider stuff, or is it DC and Warner Brothers and how they handled the DC properties?
I'm going to say Sony, Scotty, and this is why I'm going to say Sony. And Steve, you looked up these numbers earlier. Spider-Man 3 made over $800 million 13, 14 years ago, whatever it was.
It made
800.
Sorry, it made about 14 million more than Spider-Man Homecoming.
Homecoming, yeah. So it made a ton of money. And then they're like, nope, this is a fail. And then they went into Amazing Spider-Man. And Amazing Spider-Man 2 made 700-something million, which was a huge fail. But then Homecoming comes out and it only made 800-something. Like it made in between Spider-Man 2. Now, granted, Amazing Spider-Man 2 should make more. The sequel should make more, granted. No Way Home doesn't count on any kind of chart because they threw everything. Like they were just like, you're going to see 3 Spider-Man. Like that was guaranteed. They printed money on that one. But they're total knee jerk, man. Like, could have made Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, and it would have made more, probably, or as much as the Amazing Spider-Man, but probably would have been more financially successful because they would have spent less on the marketing because you don't have to because it markets itself, less on getting a new crew, like all that other stuff. You know, they probably spent more money developing Amazing, whereas they had Spider-Man. So for me, Scotty, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm going with Sony.
It's tough, man. Sony's like not been making a lot of noise as far as that goes. I feel like I have to go DC because it's just been more like they've had more quantity of panic, I guess, versus Sony's quantity of panic.
Yeah, they have Joss Whedon. They brought Joss Whedon.
Kudos to Sony for having less reasons to panic. GG, good job.
I think they've both failed pretty. Pretty spectacularly. They both. Yeah, like
it's like hard to believe, but some of these companies are making Lucasfilm look pretty okay.
There's some panic right there. DC because
we need celebration like tomorrow.
You know what drives me nuts about DC is you have Zack Snyder and he does Man of Steel. And then you're like, okay, you're going to do a sequel. He goes, okay, this is my sequel. And they're like, okay, make that. And then he makes it. And when I watched the movie, and I think Batman v Superman is a great film. But when I watched it, I was like, oh, people are going to have problems with this. And like there were decisions made in it that I was like, people, based on what I heard people say about Man of Steel, I'm like, you're going to have problems with this movie. And so that, and I'm like, but they allowed this to happen. And then they were like, yeah, but we kind of cut the hell out of it. So here's the unlimited edition, whatever it's called. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. But then he comes in then they're like, okay, but you're going to make Justice League right after. And he goes, okay, here's my Justice League idea. And they're like, do it. Okay. And it's like 700 pages, which right there should be for the studio a red flag if you don't want to have a 4-hour movie.
Right.
But then he goes to make it. Then Batman and Superman comes out while he's shooting. And they're like, well, this is like at what point did they think that wasn't how it was going to play out? Right. Like, so then they're like, oh, you're out. Joss Whedon, you're in. And then when you see the Snyder cut, and I think the Snyder cut, if Snyder would have stayed on, what we saw on HBO Max would have been different than what would have been in the theater. It probably would have been probably at least a half hour shorter. And there would have been a lot of differences about it. It still would have been the same basic movie, but there would have been stuff taken out. But then again, like you have this guy come to you pitching you a movie, and then you're like, no, we're going to edit it ourselves and we're going to shrink it down twice. And that's a bit of a knee jerk for me. Like either you make the movie that Ayer cut of Suicide Squad could be the most prime example of this ever. I haven't seen Ayer cut obviously, so I can't speak to it. But like at some point, you've got to be like, if someone pitches you a movie and you greenlight that movie, you should probably make that movie and have faith in that movie from the get-go.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like I enjoyed the second Suicide Squad movie, but why? Like you're making hit films that aren't connected to any of the other stuff that your fans want, man. Just write the material into those stories.
And that was all James Gunn, right? He had like no one bitched at him or anything. Like Matt Reeves, no one bitched at him. Todd Phillips somehow quietly made a Joker movie that ended up quietly making $1 billion. and no one bitched at them. But I just
You get
I don't
these
know.
reports all the time too, where it's like, okay, I was allowed to do this, this, and this, but they said I couldn't do anything with Harley Quinn, and I can do anything with the Joker. And it's like, well, why not, man? Just build a different persona, like what they're doing right now in the Batman universe. Like, why are you doing that now? I feel like people really had an issue with Snyder. I feel like there was some deeper thing, and I feel like it's the whole Walter Hamada, like Ray Fisher thing. Like,
Look,
there's a divide that happened there.
Zack Snyder is a very talented visual storyteller, but he's very specific. And that's why I'm excited for Rebel Moon, because Rebel Moon, I don't think Rebel Moon would have succeeded as a Star Wars movie if Zack Snyder made it, because Snyder has his own style, and he, and I thought it meshed well with DC, but I think he's going to, when he does his more Army of the Deads, more Rebel Moons, you're going to see like that is going to be pure Snyder, and his movies are a lot of fun. And let him do. I think he will be happier dealing with his own IP than he was with the Warner Brothers stuff for sure.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see
Trying
some
to
cool
fit in.
stuff.
Yeah, like, and Netflix, he can make his 4-hour movie on Netflix. No one's gonna stop him. He can do whatever he wants now. So they're both Warner Brothers, Sony. They're both disasters for creatives.
Agreed.
I would love to get the Morbius director Daniel Espinosa in a room and be like, off the record, talk to me.
Yeah, man.
That's
what
what
the
I would
hell
like.
happened?
Yeah, because
he
not
said
the movie.
he did mention. I don't know who made those edits, so he doesn't know who took out or put in the Spider-Man poster on the wall.
Yep.
The 2 interactions with the Vulture character, ugh.
I wonder if him and Jared Leto showed up to the premiere, watching it like,
Oh, what movie was that?
Yeah.
that was a movie. That was wow. When are they going to show our movie? That was a good.
Well, I know what Jared Leto did. He walked out like, wow, again, 2 characters,
Yeah,
two times now. You cut my movies to pieces.
We'll wrap it up now, but I just think the Ayer cut. You have HBO Max. It's just, to me, it's a no-brainer. Put the damn thing up there. It's a no-brainer. And look, you can always be like, this is just for fun. Watch. Like I said this to somebody in a comment the other day. We've had 72 Blade Runner cuts. Why can't you just give us a second one of the Suicide Squad? A movie that almost nobody likes. Just give us the Ayer cut.
You did a black and white version of a movie that you didn't even want him to make in the first place. Like, geez,
so
just
true.
do it, please. Release the Ayer cut. I'm getting tired of saying it. And so is David Ayer. I love every time it comes up, he's retweeting somebody. It's great.
Like, it's ridiculous.
It's gonna happen.
I think it has to.
Yeah.
I think they're stupid not to. They're sitting on money. Anyway,
For sure.
We'll wrap up the show right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe. Steve, where can everybody find you at?
Apparently, I'm on Twitter at Casual Pop Fan. Check me out there, and
Are
yeah.
you like a Coca-Cola pop or?
I don't discriminate. I'm pretty good at all pop.
And Scotty?
Hawks Holocrons, YouTube, doing a lot of work over there. I just got Lego Star Wars, so there's a lot of Lego Star Wars going on. It is a super fun game. Legos can do no wrong, man. They meme on everything, and they do it very tastefully. I've heard good things about like even picking on the sequels, so kudos.
I might try it out because it seems like
Yeah,
it's
man.
fun. But I was going to say thanks for joining us. I know we took you away from playing that game. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's it for this week's Super Tuesday. We'll be back hopefully next week, I think. But until then, may you be the master of your own universe.